Hello everyone, welcome to Me Life Studies. In this video, we are going to solve one more SQL problem as part of data analyst or data engineer interview preparation. That is question number 21. You can see here, find the percentage of sales increase between each store's first and last week's sales. Okay, and it is given sales information that you can see here. I have created and inserted data into this table, that is sales information, and I have mentioned all those statements in the description box. If I executed this one, you can see here we have sales information like having a transaction ID, date, customer ID, customer name, product ID, quantity, sales amount, store ID, and store name. Now we need to find the percentage of sales increase between each stores in from first and last week sales. Okay, now in order to find out the percentage increase of sales from first to last week, we need to find for each store the first and last week's sales, right? For that, if you observe this data, we have 20 transactions, right? We have 20 transactions from 1st to 20th date of January 2023. Now we need to find the first week. In first week, the total sales for each store and the total sales for each store in the last week, right? For that, we need to add the total sales amount. I mean, these are the sales amount for each day, right? In particular day for store 1, in the same week we will be having the same store 2, right? Store 2, store 3. In the same week we will be having again store 1, store 2, store 3. So in particular week we need to add all these values for particular stores, right? So how can we do that? We have to use sum of sales for each. We need to group by each store ID, right? We'll do that. And also one more thing, these are just dates, so you need to extract week number and also you need to group by week, right? For each week, for each store ID, you are going to find the total sales, right? Now we need to select, retrieve, and we need to extract week, right? Week number, this is date name of week comma date. And if I execute this one, you can see here. Now if I execute this one, I'm going to extract the week number, right? This is first week, second week, third week, right? I'm going to mention this as week number. Okay, you can see it, right? Now we need to have sales amount, right? Total sales amount for each week for each store, right? So you have to mention store ID comma store name comma this one, and also you need to find the total sales amount, right? You have to use sum of sales amount, right? For each week, each store, you're going to find the total sales amount, right? You have to use group by each store ID and store name and for each week, right? Okay, now sorry, I have to use as week number as here. Okay, this as total sales. Okay, now if I execute this one, you can see here for each store ID and each week number, these are the total sales. Okay, now we need to find the first and the last week's sales for each store ID, right? To find that particular values, we need to use conditional statements, and we will be using case when statements like when a week number is 1, that we will call that as first week, and when week number is 3, then that is called as last week, right? So we will be extracting for each store ID first week sales and last week sales. Okay, now I'm going to assign this as it is. Now I need to retrieve store ID comma store name comma what I have to retrieve. I have to retrieve for each store ID the first week sales, I mean the first week total sales and the last week total sales, right? So I need to use here conditional statements case when week number equal to 1, then I have to return total sales. right? I need to end this as first week sales. Okay, this is one column. Okay, now I need to return one more column as last week sales, right? Yes, when week number equal to 3, then I need to return total sales. I need to end this, okay, as last week sales, okay, from CTE. Now if I execute this one, you can see here we are getting some null values, and for each store, and for first week sales and last week sales, that you are getting it, right? Now to avoid these null values, what we should use? We should use else is 0, right? I mean a week number is equal to 1, then total sales, else we are going to put that as 0, else 0. Okay, similarly you can put here also else 0. Okay, now if I execute this one, you can see here we are getting 0 values, right? Now for each store ID you need to add all these things. I mean, see, for each store ID, store 1, this is the total sales for first week, right? For store 2, this is the 70, these are the first week for store 2, right? Likewise you are getting all values for each week for each store, right? So you have to add it up. Now you are going to add sum of, I mean you are going to add 170,000, so that you will be returning for store 1, this is the amount, right? That is first week sales. Similarly if you add these 3, you will get this value, right, as last week's sales for each store ID. Okay, similarly you need to use here as sum. Okay, if I use sum, I mean I'm going to add all these values, you will get. So see, one more thing you need to remember here, when we are going to add it of values, you have to group it, group it, right? So you have to group it by store ID comma store name, right? Otherwise you will get error. Now you can see here we are getting for each store ID or store name, you are getting first week sales and last week sales. Now you can easily find the percentage increase from first week to last week, the sales amount, right? So now you can use here CT2 as select C dot star comma, you need to find that percentage increase from first week to last week for each store ID, right? So you have to use first week sales minus, sorry, you have to use last week sales, right? First last week sales minus first week sales divided by first week sales, right? Okay, you need to multiply with 100 so that you will get in percentage, right? Now this is from CTE C, right? Whenever you are using C, you have to mention all as C dot, right? C dot first week, C dot last week. Now if you execute this one, again you are getting error. What is the errors? First week sales, I mean is there any first week underscore sales? Sorry, we need to retrieve this is from CT2, right? Not CT. Okay, so now if you execute one, you can get all values, right? Not CTE, that is CTE2. Okay, now if you see all these values, this is, we will refer this as percentage sales increment. Okay, if you execute this one, you can see these values. I mean first week is 170 and the last week is 1450. Okay, this is the how much increment has happened, that is 752 percentage has been increased. Similarly you can see all these values. Now in order to get the percentage value, I mean percentage symbol, you have to use concat here, right? Concat of, you have to use percentage symbol. Okay, now if you execute this one, you can see the percentage values, right? Okay, I hope you understand this one. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and share. Thank you.